We begin tonight tracking some high fire danger as well as record-breaking high temps this afternoon. You're taking a live look across the state today. Do not let the nice weather fool you. There are some red flag warnings across the state tonight. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jennifer Meckles. The summer-like heat combined with some very gusty winds and low humidity means a spark could really ignite a wildfire anywhere. 9 News Weather Impact Team meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen starts us off tonight. Let's walk through some of the fire conditions this evening.
Yeah, well, humidity is insanely low. Some areas as low as 7%. So it's almost no moisture in the air. And as far as the winds, fortunately, not too bad. That is one of the ingredients that is not really panning out too bad today. But the high temperatures, certainly there. We have been really hot here in Denver. For yesterday, we hit 80 degrees for the first time in 2025. That was a good 16 days earlier than normal. And today, we hit 86, which broke an all-time record. And it's also the earliest we've ever hit 86 degrees here in Denver. And we have 153 years of temperature records here in Denver. So anytime something happens for the first time in 150 years, it's pretty insane. Here's the temperatures right now. We're still in the low 80s here, 83 at the airport and also at the 9 News studios. But we're going to cool things off tomorrow. It'll be a little bit less windy as well. You'll see dropping down here into the 40s here overnight. Lots of sunshine early, but the cloud cover will return once again, and we could keep those temperatures below 70 degrees tomorrow, which is still pretty warm, but a big break from the 86 that we hit today. I'll have more on all that stuff coming up in the full forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Corey, thank you. And 9 News reporter Evan Krugel caught up with some firefighters today. No large fires at this point have started, Evan. That's good, but certainly folks were on standby and we're not out of the woods yet.
No, we're not, Jenny. Firefighters say this time of year can be really deceiving because while all of this green grass is starting to come up, this old, dry vegetation is here. And they say history shows all of this can spark and spread quickly. The bright colors of spring have a way of standing out. But at Side Creek Park in Aurora, the smell of flowers was overpowered by the smell of something else.
Yes, most certainly.
Eric Hurst and Aurora Fire responded to this fire Friday night. The cause is undetermined, but potential evidence still sits nearby.
We don't know exactly how this started, but it was more than likely started by a person, and that means that it probably could have been prevented.
Eric says he's thankful it happened Friday and not Saturday, when temperatures climbed and humidity plunged.
Low humidity and gusty winds today would probably make this fire have the potential to get a lot bigger a lot more quickly than it did last night. Yeah, really, anytime these conditions pop up and align together, we've got a risk like today.
That's why Aurora has extra wildland crews working today.
It's going to take the firefighters the same amount of time to get to that fire, but knowing that it has the potential to be a lot bigger by the time they arrive, we want to send more resources and have more firefighters available for that.
Eric says that high risk will remain through bedtime. And while he hopes people get outside to enjoy the spring colors, he's hoping they do so responsibly.
There's a lot more potential for fires to start on a day like today.
Now that red flag warning remains in place for about 3 more hours. Here in Lakewood, on the other side of town, there is absolutely no wind to speak of. That is great news for firefighters considering how hot and how dry it's been all day. Reporting live in Lakewood, Evan Krugel, 9 News.
All right, Evan, thank you. Tonight, several people are without a home after a garage fire burned a home in Aurora yesterday. According to Aurora Fire Rescue, this happened on South Valden Circle. Callers reported a missing child and a car burning inside the garage. Firefighters say the garage was fully engulfed. It spread to the second floor of the home, but the kid was found and safely evacuated. Very important. No reported injuries. Aurora Fire says 4 adults and that child were all displaced from the home, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation. Colorado Parks and Wildlife is reporting a Canadian wolf relocated to Colorado has died in Wyoming, in fact. This is now the latest tracking map released by CPW showing wolf activity in the northern part of the state, counties like Routt and Jackson near the Wyoming border. CPW says they were told about the wolf death on Wednesday this past week. Now they're working with the Wyoming Game and Fish Department to try to return the wolf's tracking collar. But more information about the death of the wolf, they can't share that right now because of Wyoming law. The wolf was one of more than a dozen wolves from British Columbia that had been reintroduced in our state as part of the Colorado Wolf Restoration Management Plan. Denver leaders are talking about a new plan that would force landlords to find their renters a temporary place to stay if for some reason the rental units become unsafe to live in. 9 News reporter Ria Jha talked to city council members who say we have examples of these exact situations when renters got stuck without basic necessities.
Council members are pointing to cases 9 News has covered, like the pipe burst at Walton Park Apartments where people were left without water for weeks, or the William Penn building, condemned earlier this year after infestations and a lack of heat. Advocates of the bill say if tenants aren't abruptly forced out, tenants are left with 2 choices: live in squalor or pay out of pocket to stay somewhere else.
This story began in 5 points.
A pipe burst at Walton Park Apartments last winter.
Back in March of 2024, I was called by community members regarding some concerns around habitability.
Residents were without water for weeks.
The alternatives provided by the property owner was for folks to go into the alley to shower, to go into the alley to get water.
At a committee meeting this week, council members Chantel Lewis and Daryl Watson are saying relocation in situations like this should be a given. But as of right now, it isn't.
And so that is the primary concept within the bill, is to require that landlords offer relocation assistance when the Department of Public Health and Environment deems that the living quarters are uninhabitable.
The proposed bill would also let DDPHE request maintenance and inspection records from property managers.
DDPHE can see if there are ongoing issues and be able to proactively address those.
Landlord groups and property managers brought up concerns about being unfairly penalized.
Now, we're doing everything we can in those situations. This notion that, one, all landlords are just kind of greedy and after the money and only don't want to fix anything is, nothing could be further from the truth.
The council members say this isn't about punishing landlords.
We know that the supermajority of property owners are very much abiding by the rules.
It's about preventing a dire situation for everyone involved.
The goal is to work in partnership with landlords so that buildings aren't deteriorating and we aren't seeing a swath of folks who are displaced overnight. Councilmember Lewis says they are incorporating feedback from property owners and colleagues before bringing the bill back to the committee. If approved, it could head to a full vote before the City Council in the coming weeks. Ria Jha, 9 News.